Here we go. Once again, this is Jony Cinco. Thank you very much for tuning in. What is it about? What you got going on? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's you and you alone, but at the same time, with your thoughts, with your heart, with your person. But again, once again, always there's going to be somebody out there that believes in you, believes in your grind. And sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's a good friend, sometimes it's people that your co-workers, right? And all I gotta say is, if you believe in the spirituality, if you believe in God, guess what? God always sends these people, right? People, that are in your life, and you don't know specifically how or why they know, or the perfect things to say to you that you need to listen. So I always ask you, as you're grinding, as you're being the best version of yourself, look. You're gonna find yourself analyzing at the end of the day, like, man, why does this person tell me this, or why do I need to hear this, right? And things, sometimes messages come from higher, come from God, and it's not gonna be that, this illuminating, room or him or your God showing up in as a miracle. Sometimes these messages come from random people, at work, your friends, your family, you're at the store, at the coffee shop, you're at the Staples, you're at any local store, grocery store, and somebody tells you a message, gives you a message. And sometimes, those messages come, in a book. Sometimes we lift, we open up a book, we open up the good book, we open up, any literature that we have around, sometimes these messages come from social media, and this is what you needed to hear today. So I ask you, you keep that open mind, keep your open mind to these messages, and analyze that. There's many times where I find myself, hearing the messages from random people, and then I'm like, man, why did this person tell me this? Why, I had the idea, because and again, like, this is the same thing, right? The podcast that happened, right? 5 minutes, 5 seconds, right? That was it. It was somebody that told me, sometimes it just takes 5 seconds to breathe. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes to just kind of reset and refit, and let's get back at it. And it goes back to sometimes, we want to do things, and the thing is, like, if we train ourselves to get back at it, to 5 seconds, 5 minutes, then we can reset. It doesn't take 30 minutes. It doesn't take 20 minutes. It doesn't take an hour. Sometimes it just takes 5 seconds of breathing. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, right, to get ready to go to the gym. It takes 5 minutes to brush our teeth, get our hygiene going, right, to get out that bed. It takes 5 minutes, right? But the decision comes in those 5 seconds, right? You have 5 seconds to say, let's do it, right? And then the action comes after, right? So what I say, when you hear these messages, right, sometimes, we write them down, we jot them, or they just stick in our mind, right, stick in our heart, and we're trying to figure out, okay, like, why did I remember this? Why I remember this specifically, right? So then, it goes back to this 5 seconds, right? You sit back and you think to yourself, okay, I can either do this, do that, make a decision, and bam, just make the action happen, right? And whatever that is, right, if it was a decision to just relax today. Sometimes we're dealing with energy. Sometimes it's about a goal. Sometimes it's about just things that we have a goal in mind, and we forgot about it, and then somebody brings it back up. So whatever those messages are that in life that you receive today, from God, from a higher being, right, from that spirituality that you believe in, keep your open mind. These messages come every day. So again, when you hear them, analyze them, right? Sometimes these messages don't require any action, right? Just requires you to just sit down, analyze. Because again, these come in everyday shape and sizes, right? And sometimes it's those things that we need to hear, that we need to listen to. So I ask you, even as Jony Cinco tells you about grinding, sometimes about getting after, guess what? Sometimes it's just about chilling, right? And listening to those messages. So this is Jony Cinco, once again, getting after it. Thank you for subscribing, and click like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace. Hey, once again, thank you very much for tuning in on this Jony Cinco podcast. What can I say, but not to say the fact that, what is it to be a champion, right? What is it to be successful? What is it to be on the mountaintop? What is it to be, already in that mindset of, what, all the goals that I have set for myself, I have accomplished, and then when you're in that success mode, how many people want to say that they're a part of it, and at the end of the day, we get upset. We get upset the fact that some people take credit for the grind that we have, all the things that we've accomplished through our sweat, through our grind, through anything that we believe. The fact that, okay, this is why, the reason why this person believes that they belong in the same conversation as you, right? The best version of you. I'm here to tell you, everybody wants to be part of successes, but no one wants to be part of your failures, right? They don't know, the time that you took where you failed, where the days that you got home and you felt like a failure, when you were out there on the gym trying to do this personal record, and you failed and you failed and you failed, right? The days that when you were trying to write and you could only write 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, because of the fact that, your life, you have a life, and many people, right, criticized you or thought or didn't believe in your goal. And all of a sudden, now that you are there, you're here, you made it to that mountaintop, you realize that, everybody wants to take credit. And you know what? Let them take credit. Let them say and do whatever it is that they want to say, because everybody has opportunity to say something, right? But you put in the work. And because you put in the work, you know what it takes, right? You know what it takes to be successful. And that is the key of anything, right? If as you progress in your goal, and you hit those specific goals that you had, people gonna want to take credit. So don't let that falter. Don't let that bring you down. Don't let that say, like, why is this person saying they help me with this and help me with that? But again, if somebody did help you in the way, right? If somebody did, lend a lending hand, right? If somebody did took the time to train you, teach you, mentor you, you always want to also give those people their flowers, give those people those gratitude, and say, this is the person that trained me. This is the person that helped me. But again, if there's those people that are talking about that they did it, say, okay, they did it, But when they ask those individuals those questions, about how they did it, or what part they took upon it, they don't know. They don't know the intricacies. They don't know the putting the one and one together, the two and two together. They don't know, what it is that you did to get to where you're at. So what I tell you always is, there's always going to be people that are taking credit. There's always going to be people that are going to be talking, trash about what you've done, or what you have accomplished, or you could have done this, you could have done that. Guess what? Everybody has, their opinion, but you know what it took to get here. So what I ask you, be proud of your grind. Be proud of all what it took to get you to this point. And don't let anybody, bring you down. And people are going to want to add their name to what you've done. They're going to want to talk trash about what you've done. But at the end of the day, you go back, to your couch, like I said, right? To your bed, the side of the bed, whatever the case may be, to your little rocking chair, on the porch, whatever it is, right? You are the only one that knows what it took to get you here. And the sacrifices. God knows the sacrifices that you took to get you here. So again, keep grinding. Everybody, positive negativity is always going to be there, but you're with you. What's in your heart, what's in your soul, what it took to get you here. So I always ask you, keep grinding. I believe in you. Jony Cinco, again, always believes in you. You believe in yourself. You got family, friends, and you got everybody behind you that look up to you. So again, thank you always for tuning into the podcast. Click like and subscribe. And again, this is Jony Cinco out. Peace.